Good evening, Madam President and members of the board. May I approach to hand you a packet,
No,
please?
you may give your name and address, sir.
Okay.
Please.
Or will I give my name and address? Absolutely.
You bet.
Mark Gonzales, 7055 Glencoe Street.
Thank you.
Now may I approach to hand out a packet?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Madam President, members of the board, you have received a packet of our concerns at Hanson Elementary, as well as members of the media have also received the same packet. Also, members of the board, you have received manila envelopes with non-official petitions signed with an approximation of 804 signatures in support of our situation at Hanson. First of all, I'd like to start on approximately 3 board meetings ago, a resolution was passed at a 5-0 vote to open up to a nationwide superintendent search that was going to be given to an outside agency. We have not heard any more of acting on that resolution. I am here to ask you not to void that resolution as a member of the board because it was 5-0, and go ahead and open that up. With your support, as you've been very adamant about, Ms. Lewis, that you will support your superintendent, there should not be any
Gonzales,
question.
Hold on, sir.
Go ahead.
Don't make references to me or any of the other board members, sir.
Okay, as it was,
Please.
okay, I'm sorry. As it was told to me that support will lie with Dr. Chandler, we are okay with it. So then there should be nothing,
Not at Dr. Chandler either.
okay. So then there should be no problem to open up a search for the best possible qualified person to receive the position, rather than just removing the interim title amongst the 5 of you. If you look through your packet, it is stating what we'd like to know. We're going through problems that have originated from the superintendent's actions, lies, manipulation,
Well,
intimidation.
those are accusations, sir. Now, I'm not
They
going to
are
call you.
fact, ma'am.
You're not going to come in here and do that to someone that sits here. If you
Okay.
want, you're not going to make
enough.
accusations.
Fair enough.
Okay, I'm being fair with you, sir.
And I'm going to be fair with you as
Okay,
well.
but please remember, you cannot do these things.
Okay.
Thank you.
Facts that have happened is there, if I may, dismissal of personnel related to English language acquisition. Approximately 78% student population Hispanic, but 0 Hispanics involved in the decision making. Not saying at all that the 4 of you are not professional enough or equipped to make those decisions. Phone call to a principal requesting her early retirement because she believes in helping the community, her students, and the English language acquisition program. Continuous buying of contracts to keep personnel from telling the truth. That shows no fiscal responsibility whatsoever. As well as fabricating and minusing numbers when given to the Board of Education, news, media, and community. When we asked administration and the new principal why building personnel was pulled out of the building,
Can you hold a minute, Mr.
Sure.
Gonzales? I'm sorry. Someone has their cell phone on, and I've asked twice now for the cell phones to be turned off. So we'll just take a minute, if you can stop that clock, because it does interfere with our speaker, and if you can turn that cell phone off, it would be appreciated. I'm sorry, sir.
thank you.
Go ahead. You can start the clock again.
We were told by administration and the new principal that the reason was because, quote unquote, very, very serious. Then we asked if that was serious. We wanted to know if there was abuse of a child or she had stole something. We were answered that we cannot tell them because they were protecting that individual. It's a little sideways to protect an individual. Is it just an attempt to destroy a person's reputation? Mr. Albright just read a letter that was specified at Hanson. However, we as a district are failing in the CSAP scores, okay? Not just Hanson. We have not seen a specific letter stating the traditional decline at Adams City High School, or nobody was placed on administrative leave. We're asking for consistency, and consistency only. The next day, when we, the parents, decided to pull the kids from school, Mr. Albright informed the news media that only 60 students were pulled from school. when actually 243 were full. Again, we as a community cannot forgive you for the incorrect information. Also, I'm going to note, when we did sit at a roundtable meeting that was granted by Dr. Chandler, it was very hard to identify who the actual superintendent was due to Mr. Albright answering the majority of the questions.
Mr. Gonzales,
Yes.
please do not make reference to people.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hate to keep asking you this because I want to give you your time so that you just need to comply with the rules.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Then on Friday, we decided as a community to keep our kids from school. And what happened again? Incorrect information to the news media that very few kids that did not attend school. Actually, it was 204 students. We could only imagine what other false information's been given. You told our community representatives that you agreed to call the Board of Education for an emergency meeting to resolve the mess you created. Again, by the response we got, and by the numbers they received, it was a little difficult to grant that, because there wasn't accurate information. It may have spurred an emergency meeting. We do feel that it required an emergency meeting, and obviously, it was felt that way because higher personnel and administrators seem to be at Hanson daily, which is not characteristic. Now that it was apparent that you were not able to convince the community with lies and incorrect information, it became to serious tactics of releasing information, letting letters go home, that is not consistent with what happens at every other school in the district. When we, the community, found out that the district was not going to fund continuous year again, and that building personnel supported us, we were told it was because of loss, or because of cost. The truth is, building administration is no longer there because of a personal vendetta. When we talk about, there are three talking points usually in the district, and that's CSAP, CELA, and the gross summary of each school by the state. We are not proud of the scores at Hanson. We understand them. You've shoved them down our throat. We accept them. However, we too will strive with you to improve those. But if building personnel in one building is going to be placed on administrative leave for test scores, and because, quote, unquote, the scores are unacceptable, then go across the board. Our high school has some of the worst scores in the state. It's time to accept the fact, all the way around, not just where you want it to. When we look at CELA, CELA was designed to measure English language growth and our Spanish speakers to measure growth in English. When we look at the CELA data, in fact, 2006 and 2007, Hanson had the second strongest percentage growth in the district and a more solid bilingual program. Hanson was at 46.8% and the district average was 39.4%. In 2007, 2008, Hanson was below district average. Hanson at 45% and the district at 47.3%. Hanson still did better than ACHS, CLA, and DuPont. If you are looking at growth, it makes sense that a school will do really well one year and dip a bit in the next. What is more important is the average of the 2 years together. Hanson's average 2-year cohort growth was 67.9%, higher than the ACHS, ALSA, CLA, DuPont, KMS, Monaco, and Rose Hill, while the district was below that at a 62.6%. If we take ACMS and KMS out of the picture because of statistical viability, Central was a tiny bit higher at 68.9%. And Kemp did substantially better than any school at 81.7%. This seems like the best data because it looks at the growth for 2 years.